Hi guys, I'm Tess. I've been going to hackathons for like 2.5 years and writing about hackathons for maybe like a year and a half. So I just wanted to talk today about stories and hacking and how stories and good storytelling can really help the hackathon community out. So before I talk about stories in the context of hacking, I just want to talk about storytelling itself. Why do we tell stories, like, culturally? We tell them to entertain, we tell them for history, but like I think one of the biggest reasons we tell them is to celebrate and communicate our values. And so if you think about storytelling as a tool to do that, it really becomes an interesting tool for the hackathon community. I asked the Hacker League, the Facebook group, a couple days ago about what we want as a community. And these were like the top, there were like 30 answers. These were like the top 8. And there were a lot of disagreements around things, but I noticed that around these topics, people were really, like, our values were really beginning to solidify, and we were really beginning to come together as a community. So I think it's a really interesting time for us to start talking about the right way to communicate and celebrate our values. And beyond that, good storytelling can actually help us achieve a lot of these things. It's not some cure-all. It's not going to help us solve every problem, but it's actually a really interesting tool that we can use to the benefit of 6 of these top 8. The first one I want to talk about, which we talked about in much greater depth yesterday, is a more inclusive environment, getting more women there. One of the problems we talked about is the fact that girls often don't see themselves at hackathons. If we tell good stories about who actually goes to hackathons, about the diversity of people, about the breadth of the hacks, we can convince people that hackathons are for them too. Additionally, we have a problem where not everyone understands what a hackathon really is. I think any opportunity to say that not that kind of hacking is a good thing. Another thing people wanted was broader recognition from outside the hacker community. One way we can get that is through press. The way that tech blogging works, by and large, is if you package the story for them, they will write it. And so, seriously. And so you see things where, on the PanApps blog, we have this: who's hacking what, the musical toilet. Pando Daily, the next day, meet musical toilet, the latest innovation in the connected bathroom. Another thing we wanted, so those were both sort of coming at our values, or using storytelling as a tool to communicate our values. If we talk about storytelling as a way to celebrate our values, we can achieve things like more hackathons where beginners feel successful. This is something we all want. How do we tell good stories about successful beginners? How do we celebrate those early hacks? Similarly, hacks living on after hackathons are over. A good story can help, if we write about these things, if we interview people, make videos, we can keep hacks living on longer. Similarly, telling these stories helps connect us. We stay in touch with each other. We stay in the loop. People know what's going on across the community. Not everyone can come to HackCon. Let's tell these stories. Let's let everyone know what's going on. How? Okay, so I have been going to hackathons, writing about them, trying to put these blogs together, interview teams. What have I learned? There's a bunch of different flavors of ways you can do it. Each one has a different effect. That one of the big things that I learned is that I have to stick to what I know. I'm not a photographer. I need to find a photographer. I need to work with a photographer. If you're trying to tell stories, pick something that you're good at and stick to it, and find good teammates. Also, if you're either writing about hackathons or trying to find people to write about hackathons, don't get distracted. Don't distract them. Don't have them start running around helping out with stuff. It's just way too much. The biggest thing I've learned is that I do not scale, and I cannot tell the story of hackathons by myself. And no, even a team of people can't really tell the story of even a single hackathon convincingly. We need people to learn how to tell their own stories. How do we make this a part of our culture as hackers? In some ways, we're already pretty decent at telling these stories. We got PanApps trending during PanApps. You see it's all this football stuff a year ago, and there's PanApps up there, which is pretty sweet. We're good at communicating, but it's we need to get better at solidifying our values and telling a good story. I mean, we're like, there are a million ways we tell stories, right? We're doing this already. We just need to like get it together and really, I'm out of time, but we just need to really get it together. So can we create incentives to get people to tell their own stories? And that's it. Thank you so much.